Kevin J. Johnston, the #1 name in the land of the North, he's risen to fame. 40 years deep in the law he's read. Now the CRA shakes in fear and dread. Stop paying tax forever, my friend. With Kevin J. Johnston, the fight doesn't end. Corporate debt, he'll make it all good. He's the man the CRA misunderstood. They vanish like mist when Kevin shows up with his legal fist. No more matching, no more lies, just clean-cut books and clear blue skies. Stop paying tax forever, my friend. With Kevin J. Johnston, the rules start to bend. The CRA can scream and shout, but Kevin knows how to throw them out. They claim they've got the final say, but Kevin proves there's a better way. He fights for truth, he fights for you, and teaches what the courts won't do. Forever today. Let Kevin J. Johnston show you the way. The expert, the rebel, the man with a plan. He's saving this nation, one client per hand. He's got 40 years of tax law knowing and corporate skills that keep cash flowing. And GST payroll all in line. He'll save your neck and every dime. He studied law, both civil crime, and makes tax code sound so sublime. With stand-up jokes and punchlines tight, he makes your seminar a night of light. Kevin J, CRA just runs away. He's the tax manslayer with a legal plan, the best-looking genius in the land. Kevin J, taking all your tax away. If the government's scared, then it's safe to say he's the hero of the North, Kevin J. 2 million women cast their vote, said Kevin's hot, that's all she wrote. The suits at CRA can't compete, he's beaten them clean without deceit. 100 mil he's saved so far, he's raising truth like a legal star. And if you think you owe the state, he'll show you how to terminate. Kevin J, CRA just runs away. He's the tax manslayer with a legal plan, the best-looking genius in the land. Kevin J, taking all your tax away. If the government's scared, then it's safe to say he's the hero of the North, Kevin
Kevin J. Johnston here. Welcome to the Tax and Money Show. This is episode number 71. We'll do another one of your questions answered. This show runs every single Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you all for being here. We're broadcasting on Facebook, DLive, Twitch, YouTube, another Facebook page, a couple more Facebook pages, TikTok, Instagram, Kick, Restream, and a whole bunch of others. So I want to say thank you to everybody for being here tonight. Everybody who's watching, share this now. Subscribe now. I also, I noticed there's a lot of you, and thank you for this, by the way. There's a lot of you sending screenshots of TikTok channels that are not mine. So if anyone out there can get me the address, the head office address of TikTok for the United States or North America, I've just got to send them letters, letting them know that I don't want those taken down. I want them given to me. May as well. People are taking my content and hopefully not suckering people out of money. And here's the way that it works. Don't give me money unless you're speaking to me on the phone and I'm actually answering your questions, not some AI demagogue answering questions with one syllable answers like yes, oh, these. That's what it does. And remember to ask me to lift the mouse up, show you the mouse on my desktop. All of you know I drink a lot of water on my show. Ask me to lift a few things up on my desk. Here's another one. All right, you see these things here? These little rubber tips. All right, these little rubber tip things are fantastic for all of my cell phones. All my phones have styluses, but I've got to pop the stylus out for each one. So 1, 2, and 3 different phones I've got going on here. Ask me to hold up my rubber screen tapper. So you got to be very careful out there, everybody, that you are not speaking to AI. And in about a year or two, it's going to be very difficult to know the difference. So be speaking to me on the phone or in a chat room before you throw large sums of money out the door. All right. I hope that that is something everyone will pay attention to. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, actually, there you go. See, Dick is asking me, KJJ Socials, is that my email? KJJ Socials is one of the authorized TikTok channels that I have out there. Yes, there is one of my sales reps came to me, asked me if he could duplicate my videos. I said, yes, go ahead. So if it's KJJ Socials, that one is legitimate. And there is one more out there. I was going through all of my old social media notes, everybody. And it turns out that I forgot about one of my TikTok channels, which I have now given to another sales rep of mine. This one is legit. It is official Kevin J. Johnston. It's been around for a while. I honestly just forgot about it. So could everybody please follow me now on TikTok at official Kevin J. Johnston. That is another sales rep of mine. Good guy, actually works for me full time. He's not on contract. He is he's on salary, and we're going to be putting up a couple of different videos on his just to kind of spread it around a little bit. So please, everybody watching, go to TikTok and follow me at official Kevin J. Johnston. That will be officially my official sales reps official TikTok channel. Wow. All right, ladies and gentlemen, just go ahead and fire away with all of your tax questions. I did want to reflect on something here, though. There's a question and a statement and a combination of the two that keeps coming in about capital gains. All right, capital gains. Sorry about that, everybody. Some jerk made a phone call to me. I'm wondering why it is that people still continue to phone me when they know I'm live at this time. So when I talk about capital gains in Canada, you do not have to report capital gains to the CRA. You do not need to tell the CRA anything. Remember this, just because someone asks you a question does not mean you have to answer it. Even the cops will tell you, shh, you've got the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. So, don't do it. And with the CRA, they've got questions, all kinds of questions, all the way down their tax form. Why answer them? Leave them blank. I mean, putting a zero down is a lie, but it's not a court document, so you're allowed to lie. But just leave it blank. You know, the CRA makes phone calls to clients of mine all the time. We want your GST or your income tax return for your corporation from January to June of 2023. No problem. We grab a blank form. We put the corporate name at the top. I sign as the legal agent for the client and mail it in. No numbers. And the CRA rep will call. Oh, you didn't put any numbers on there. I said, yeah, I know. You'll get numbers eventually, but we don't know them. And I tell them that for me to put any numbers down there before I know them would be a lie. Now, you don't want me to lie to you, Mr. CRA agent, do you? And they always, of course, say no. And that's how you deal with it. So if I can submit at least 40 blank tax returns whenever the CRA demands them, and they call me to state it's okay that you did it, why would you think that you can't do the same thing? So in capital gains, keep your mouth closed about it. Do not talk about it. Do not email people about it. Don't brag to your friends that you sold a property for money. Stop bragging. This me generation nonsense, where everyone's got the phone out like this, and somehow, with the smiley face and the selfie, everybody thinks that they are more important than the subject matter behind them. And I guess to your mom and dad, you are, but not to too many others. So all of us out there want to brag where we are. Look, I'm at Niagara Falls. Look at this. I'm in Hong Kong. Look at me. Look at me. I just sold a house, everybody, and I made a $400,000 profit. Why do you do this? Don't do this. Stop bragging. There is nothing to gain by bragging and letting the world know that you are doing well, unless, of course, you're a big mouth, and I mean very big mouth public figure like myself. I couldn't care less what the CRA thinks that they know about me, because I'm always willing to tackle them right through into the very end. All right, let's get some more questions here. Okay, so the point of that story, shut up about your capital gains. Do not report capital gains. You do not have to legally report your capital gains. Okay? You got yourself a rental house? Shh. You bought a cottage for yourself? Shh. You bought a duplex and you're renting both sides? Shh. You bought a trailer attached to a barn, which is attached to a house, attached to the side of a ship, which is attached to a building? Shh. Stop talking about your stuff. Fanatic says, hi, I'm 2 years behind with my taxes, but business is slow. I cannot afford to do them. What do I do? Submit blank returns. Name of the company or your name. So if it's personal taxes, you put your name and social insurance number on it, signature at the bottom, no numbers, throw it in the mail. Literally throw it in the mail, send it off to the CRA. It's considered done. Now, they'll assess you. They will take a wild guess and put some bogus number on there for you to peruse and hopefully pay. And at that point, you submit an objection and you tell them that you're objecting because there's nothing on the tax return. How dare they make an assessment based on nothing? Accuse them of fraud. And if you need to, file a police report and then submit your objection form. That's how you do it with no money. D2D says they are forcing e-commerce. How do we get around that? I'm sorry, who's forcing? Could you expand on that, please? Who's forcing it? I know corporations are less expensive, but someone has money. It's an irrevocable trust. Okay, trusts, everybody. Trusts are great if you've got multiple houses, multiple mansions, multiple cottages, lots of cars, lots of trailers, tons of power tools. Yeah, drop $40,000 on a trust, because if you can afford 30 houses, then $40,000 is nothing to you. It's like 40 cents to most people. Go ahead, but you don't need it. The numbered corporation does the same job so long as you are not the director, but you are 100% shareholder. Cheaper, better than a will when you write your corporate, because I'm going to write great corporate bylaws for you. Cheaper, better, and it works exactly the same way. But do not ever tell the government who the shareholders are. The government says, we need you to tell us who the shareholders are. And like I keep telling them, I need you to kiss my ass. And we're both going to be very disappointed today. You do not have to do anything that someone says that they need you to do. And they always guilt you. If look, you got to help me out here. If you don't tell me this information, I'm going to lose my job. You know what your answer is? Good. I hope you do. And I hope you get cancer. And I hope you get other diseases too. Just stop being nice to people. Treat your life like a business. When somebody is interfering with your life, they are interfering with your business. So let them have it. I mean, don't insult them. Don't throw stuff at them. Let them have it verbally. Give them the stare down. Just keep looking them right in the eye and tell them, you're bothering me. Go away. I'm calling the cops right now if you keep talking to me. And then just pick up the phone and call 911. Say, I've got someone threatening me. The cops will be there. Always make sure that you are protecting you. This is not the 1950s and 1960s anymore, where people actually had high trust in society. We have all kinds of mass immigrations destroying us. We've got the liberal hive mind destroying us. We've got a bad economy where everybody is desperate and broke. We have all kinds of really bad things going on in our countries. We can't throw trust around any longer. So please protect yourselves at all costs. Big Slicks. Report the CRA for committing fraud by making you pay something that makes no sense. Well, yeah, Big Slicks. Okay, good point. All of you, if you get more than one phone call from the same CRA representative and they're demanding money, that's extortion, that is uttering threats, it is criminal harassment, it's intimidation. That's a lot of jail time. Call the police. The police are useless. They won't do anything, but call them anyway. And then go to the courthouse and file criminal charges. If 1 million Canadians got off the couch and went and did this, the CRA policies would have to change very rapidly. We got to start putting the CRA in prison. We have to start putting contractors' liens on their homes, taking their stuff away from them. We need to put people in front of the CRA offices all over the country and film everyone's face and get all of their license plates on file and have a public database of this stuff, because these people are terrorists and they are criminals and the world needs to know who they are. Let's keep going here. All right. Questions. Have you opened up more meeting slots? Yeah. You know what, Scott, we opened up 15 meeting slots and they sold out in 2 hours. So I'm probably going to have to open up some more meeting slots, some more consultation slots. That's a good point. And thanks for reminding me. I got to look at that tomorrow when we have our general meeting. Thank you. All right. Johnny Bravo had an old corporation. They auto-assessed and asking for a payment or face judgment on a credit bureau. Can you buy this corporation? I can buy any corporation in Canada registered in any province or any territory, and that includes federally incorporated companies. The answer is yes. And I would love to take that from you and send the appropriate letters off to the province and to the CRA, letting them know that you no longer own the corporation. And if they want to, they can attack my credit bureau and Bugs Bunny's credit bureau and a few others, because Bugs Bunny is always the director of my corporations when I buy them, and a few other choice names too, none of which I'll state here because they're kind of vulgar and immature and really immature. So yes, let's do that. Please, Johnny, go to kevinjjohnston.biz, B-I-Z, and fill out the form. Get your corporation sold to me. All right. There's a gentleman named Tim, my full-time guy. He's going to call you and he's going to set everything up and guide you through the process. If something is a little bit off, you don't understand something, no problem. Then Tim just calls me into the meeting room and we go through it. Awesome. Thank you. Checking it out here. How do you do your strategy online? I'm sorry. I've got a lot of strategies. So which one are you talking about? Let me know. Due to Coinbase connected with a bank, the CRA, I think the question is, Coinbase is connected with some of the banks. So does the CRA get automatic information on gains? CRA, probably not, but FinTrack, yes. That's the problem with all Canadian crypto exchanges. They can't wait to give your private information to FinTrack. FinTrack is a criminal enterprise. They're worse than the CRA. They have about 540 employees, and they were supposed to be the ones that monitored money laundering in Canada. But then FINTRAC came to the realization that it was foolish to look for illegal money laundering in Canada because 95% of the housing market in Canada, every province is propped up on money laundering. So why would they shut down the economy by investigating money laundering? So they turned their efforts on the Canadian people. You see, if you don't use something, then you admit by default it's pointless. So FINTRAC, I think they all caught on to the fact that they were absolutely pointless. So they started now investigating everybody in the country. If you put more than $5,000 in the bank, FINTRAC finds out. But it's not like FINTRAC can do anything other than report that to the CRA. And remember, if you stand your ground with the CRA, they can't do anything about it. Period. Do I offer private consultations? Yes, I do. And we're going to put some more of them up for sale pretty soon on kevinjjohnstonmyname.com. How do I deal with collection agencies? Cease and desist notice. We demand full disclosure. We give them 30 days to get us full disclosure, or by default, they admit that there absolutely is no debt. Then you go to the courthouse and file charges for criminal harassment if they don't stop. And intimidation. Because yes, collection agents are allowed to call until you tell them to contact your legal agent. And if they call you after that, courthouse, charges, lawsuit. Apricot, Canada. I haven't filed my taxes last year. I sold a rental with a loss, but apparently I owe $70,000 because I borrowed against it. Should I report the property on my taxes? F no. No, 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 no. And in French, no, no. Nein, niet, no. Absolutely not. I think in Greek it's ohi. Yeah, that's got to be it, because ne is yes. So absolutely not. Never, never, never report the sale of a property to the CRA. You are not legally obligated to do so. All you're going to do is lose money. They'll just take it from you. Period. Danny Alexander, I claim my rental property for the last 5 years. So if I sold it, would they know if I tell them? Well, because your tax return would change a little bit, what they'll do is they'll assess you at a higher amount. You need to object to that amount and force them to prove to you that there was a debt in the first place. It's a bit of a process, but you still don't have to tell them anything. Is there a difference between a number and a named corporation? So in Canada, Canada is one of the few countries in the world that allows you to have a numbered corporation. So instead of it being Kevin J. Johnston, good looking dude, Inc., it would be 100994993 Ontario Incorporated or BC Limited or something. And when it's a numbered corporation, that's fantastic because it doesn't look like a name. Names are easy to remember. A series of 12 numbers is not. So no one's going to remember your corporation unless they have eidetic memory, and nobody who works for the CRA has eidetic memory. Right? They really are not smart people. So the numbered corporation also allows you to utilize any name that you want. So you would give a letter up to the bank when you open up your bank account saying, this is a numbered corporation, and here's all 75 business names that we use. Yeah, and they have to accept it. Alberta is the only province in Canada that will make you register a provincial trademark, which is, I think, $65 or something. So register the trademark, and now you can use any trade name that you want. All right. Thank you, Johnny Bravo. Appreciate that. Someone's asking if we can meet in late October. I assume that you mean in Panama City, so probably. Yeah, there's... all right. Anybody who's trying to get in touch with me has to do so through my website. Please, please, please do not, under any circumstances, contact me through direct messaging on social media. I do not have time to check it. Someone's asking me what I think about wars around the world and other religions. This is not a political show. And why do you care about my opinion on religions and world wars and whatnot? I covered this a few times in the past. You can watch my older shows if you really want to know what I think about involving yourself in wars that have nothing to do with you. All right, there you are. Watch my old shows. I'm not answering that question. Okay. A collection agency reported on my credit report. How can I remove it? All right. So with TransUnion and Equifax, those are the two big boys in Canada. You are allowed one free credit report from them per year. So get the credit report, and then you immediately have to issue a registered letter to them stating that you have no idea what the first thing on the list is, and then have them remove it. Then another letter. I have no idea what the third thing is, and have them remove it. Just don't do everything at one time. Do one at a time. Never pay them. Never pay them. Demand it be removed because you have no idea what it is. And they don't either. They have no record of why they're dinging your credit score. People just tell them to, and they do it like good little sheep. So you have to complain and be loud. The squeaky wheel will always, always, always get the grease. Yeah, I'm going to head over to the Rumble room right now. Alrighty. Chopped liver question. What's the turnaround time to respond? Usually it's a couple of days because we are pretty busy. And what happens when the CRA adds interest to what they say you owe? I redo your taxes and I wipe out the original tax debt, which means they cannot put interest on something that never existed in the first place. All right. All right. I'm just, okay, good. Let's go to the TikTok questions here. How do you avoid reporting capital gains from a lawyer or accountant who reports it? First off, if any of you have a lawyer or an accountant that reports anything to the CRA, fire them immediately. They're not good people. They don't work for you. They work for the CRA, which is sad because you're the one paying them. Fire them immediately. Let me do your taxes. I'll never report your capital gain. Is the CRA allowed to take my GST and use it to pay my CERB debt? Well, yes, but they're utilizing policy, not law, to do that. So what you would want to do is we have to kill the CERB debt. Costs $950 for us to do it. It's a series of 5 legal letters that go out the door and a possible lawsuit against the CRA. But I'm batting 100% on that one. Yeah, I'm 100% on getting rid of CERB loans. So get rid of the CERB loan, and you'll be able to keep all your GST. Why do they charge 7% interest daily? They are the mafia. Well, because nobody challenges them, because Canadians don't take them to court, because Canadians don't file criminal charges against them, because Canadians do not show up at their homes with court documents and court injunctions, because Canadians refuse to put protests outside of bank managers' offices and homes, and refuse to set up protests outside the homes of CRA representatives, because Canadians refuse to be involved in their own lives. That's why the CRA gets away with everything. You see, everyone, Canada has had it way too good for way too long. Canada is a prime example of what happens when a society has 60 years of decadence. It's not very good now, is it? Decadence makes men slow, fat, and lazy, and it makes women angry and upset and frustrated. And then the genders and the sexes fight each other all the time. There's no harmony in the household. And here we are. Complacency, obviously, is not good for anyone. Look what happened when I walked away from that stupid country. All right. When I left Canada, I became a millionaire in less than a year and a half. So stop concerning yourself, everybody, with comfort. Who cares about comfort? Why is everyone in such a hurry to be comfortable? Why is it that people say, I'm not comfortable, like it's some kind of moral statement? If you're not comfortable around me, that's good. Good. Because you're either going to be on edge and get things done properly, or you're going to leave. Both I'm good with. Comfort sucks. So Canada, everyone, was comfortable for all those years. A prime example. Yeah, my parents would come home from work and watch TV all night. But so did everybody's parents in the 70s and the 80s. Television shows were something that everybody got piled in the car and raced home to catch the show on time, because back then there was no VCRs to record them and whatnot. So people, thank you for that. People would always make sitting on their asses part of their family culture. And look what it got us. It's a life I can't live. I have zero interest in sitting down, watching TV shows and whatnot. I mean, for me, it's audiobooks, but I'm only listening to audiobooks when I finally gets time for some exercise. I'm exercising and learning at the same time. We cannot be decadent, and you cannot be lazy, and you can't look for comfort. You cannot look at fighting the CRA as this overt burden taking you away from TV. You need to see TV as the overt burden stopping you from crushing the CRA. You've got to reverse how you think. So maybe that helps you understand. Can I sell my company to someone for $1? And do I have to disclose any of my debts when I sell? Absolutely, you have to. Okay. Yes, you do. If you're going to sell a corporation, the whole thing in what's called a share sale, you've got to disclose everything. Assets, lawsuits, municipal fines, provincial fines, state fines, federal fines. What else you got there? Any and all public inquiries, debts of every kind, bank loans, GST, HST, PST, payroll. You have to disclose everything. Otherwise, guess what that is called? It's called fraud. So if you're going to sell somebody a corporation for $1 and they get stuck with a bunch of debt that they didn't want, well, they're going to come after you, and so they should. But if you sell your company to me, you disclose your debts to me, and I take all your debts away from you. I'm the only one in the country that does this. It's called debt brokering. Now, how do I know that? Because I invented it, and I invented the phrase to describe it. So that's what you got to do, Andy. Let me buy your company. What happens if you don't file GST for a corporation? Absolutely nothing. If you never do a GST return. So in Canadian tax law, clause 150 of the Income Tax Act says you shall do a tax return. The word shall is merely a suggestion, so you do not have to do one. So when you register a brand new corporation, what you'll do is never do a tax return and never do a GST return. And that way you don't have to remit any GST. You don't have to tell the CRA a damn thing. And what's the point of having a corporation if you're going to snitch on yourself and say, hi, CRA, I opened this corporation. Here's my real name. Here's my social insurance number. Here's my home address, phone number, and email address, bra size, underwear size, shoe size, and where my aunts and uncles and ex-girlfriends all live. So you know where to come and find me to charge me tax dollars. That's what you're doing when you fill out a tax return. So please, everyone, shut up. Stop snitching on yourself. There's your answer. What does it cost to take the CRA to court? Well, I always go in self-represented, so it's about $300 to file the lawsuit and the cost of fuel to get to the courthouse. And I live for this stuff. My only concern with suing the CRA is that lawyers suck. So what you've got to do is you've got to find someone that really knows what they're talking about in taxes. There's not many of us out there that do. But you could also have me as your agent, at which point I would be able to talk in your ear as your McKenzie friend in court, tell you exactly what to say. Now, if you're suing the CRA, they almost never show up in court. You're going to win by default. They may not even file a defense. That's the best part about it. I need help fighting the CRA. They stole $6,400 from me, and they're saying I owe $2,500 more. All right, everybody out there, everyone out there. The Canada Revenue Agency has zero access to your bank account. What they do is they play a trick. They send a requirement to pay letter to the bank. The bank is not legally obligated to even look at the thing, but they all do because they're a bunch of cowards and criminals. And the bank gives your money to the CRA. That's what happens. As soon as the CRA says you owe us money, empty your bank account, drain it. We register you a brand new numbered corporation and put all your money there. Now, no bank account, no problem. That's how it works. Everyone sits around and waits. So don't wait. You get threatened, deal with it. Warren, you're asking me if I think they track business accounts? Sorry, who? Let me know what you think. Lisa, they know if you sell what? Sorry, who knows that you've sold what? Maybe you should elaborate on that, please. Freedom asks, are you a lawyer? No, I refuse. I passed the bar. And back, all that nonsense, that pronoun stuff was starting back in 2005. I called them a bunch of freaks and told them to go F themselves. I do not want my law license, and I walked right out the door. No, I'm not interested. I do not want anything to do with being licensed by any governing body in Canada. The only license that I carry in Canada is a driver's license. Beyond that, I have refused every other license. I'm not a joiner. I am not a joiner. It's why you don't see me protesting on behalf of other countries or protesting on behalf of a cause. I am not a joiner. I am a not lone wolf. That would be the wrong one, but I am completely and totally independent. I will go where the opportunities are. I will go where the money is, and I will go where I feel I can make the most impact whilst still making a good living doing it. I have volunteered my time for probably the better part of 35 to 40 years. Enough is enough. I'm getting paid for my efforts now. So that is my take on that. All right, we've got some more questions here. Should I open a PREC? Oh, okay. That stands for Personal Real Estate Corporation. The province of Ontario in Canada, which has 14.5 million residents, has a governing body called RECO, Real Estate Commission of Ontario. And the Real Estate Commission of Ontario is not a government body. It's a private company. Yeah, you're licensed by a private company. And what they said is, well, we have the trademark of realtor. You can't call yourself a realtor unless you're a member of RECO. And then you got to follow RECO's rules. Well, screw RECO. I want nothing to do with RECO. And I am now circumventing every single one of RECO's rules, helping my clients sell houses without even paying any of the liens on the properties, because I'm not going to do what RECO says. I'm not a joiner, like I told you. So a personal real estate corporation, RECO came out and said, okay, you real estate agents, you can have a real estate corporation, but it's still connected to your social insurance number. So why would you want to have this substandard, subpar, sub-style of corporation where you still got to pay personal tax on it? No, stay the hell away from PRECs. They are a horrible idea. You know what you got to do, everyone? Grow some balls and open up a corporation. I'll help you do it. And then just start doing things your way. But I don't want to lose my license. Lose your license from a private company? Are you kidding? You care what RECO has to say? I don't. They've threatened me a few times. What did I do? You guys can go back to 2000. It was 2020 when I walked into RECO's office in my hometown of Mississauga and served all of them this lovely, lovely, lovely lawsuit. And they all lost their minds. One guy picks it up. He puts this big show on. You can't serve me this. Rip. I don't care if he rips it. I gave it to him on camera. He ripped it like an idiot on camera. So that means he didn't read the lawsuit. And had he not filed a defense, I would have won by default. These people are losers. RECO is a criminal enterprise. They are a disorganized, greedy bunch of individuals who have lied to all of you, saying that they work for the government and that they are the government, and they are not the government. Do not do what RECO says. Anybody that wants to reach me, always, 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 always through my website, kevinjjohnston.com. I do not have time for private messages on social media. We're back in the Rumble room here. All right. So anybody that wants to meet with me in Panama City and buy me dinner, wonderful. Yes, you can book time with my team on my website. I do meet people in person here. Tim is asking, who among us here has corporate debt and who wants to crush the CRA? Go get him, Tim. I love it. Absolutely. Question. The corporations you open also get put into a trust. You can put anything into a trust. Star Wars action figures, houses, companies, prex. You can put whatever you want into a trust, but they are really, really, really expensive and really, really, really unnecessary. I talked about that earlier in the show. All right. So someone just emailed me, "Are you single?" But they didn't send me any pictures. So I'm afraid to answer the question. Maybe it's a guy. I'm not answering that question. Okay, next. All right, having a look now at more TikTok questions. User 607, my ex-husband got a lawyer to send me a letter. He wants the $13,000 in trust. I don't know anything about your story, so I really can't guide you on that. Okay, so anyone that wants to book a consultation with me, yeah, they all sold out when we opened them up last week. I will open up more soon. So what I would ask all of you to do is check on my website on Monday, please, because we really have to look at my schedule and we're going to open some more up for sale. They will be available soon, but not until Monday. However, if you have a corporation to sell to me that's loaded with debt, I want to buy it, go to kevinjjohnston.biz, kevinjjohnston.biz, fill out the form, put down your corporation name, corporation number, all the debts that it has. And I either myself or the team is going to get a hold of you. You can also use the same form if you want our company to take over your payroll, where you save almost $6,000 per person per year. Please do not use that form for personal taxes, because I will get upset that you're trying to bypass the system. I do not like when people try to con me, and I'll never do your taxes. So use the form responsibly, please. Sherry says, what about if we already did payroll through the corporation? Will they demand a tax return? Well, when you open up a corporation in Canada and you want to do payroll through it, when you apply for the payroll account number, they will immediately begin hounding you on a monthly basis to do payroll. There is a way around that. It's a very, very long description. So that's one that I would teach somebody in a private consultation. It takes about an hour for me to get through the entire lesson on just that one question there. So Sherry, if you wanted us to take over your payroll for you, you don't have to worry about it. We will take over payroll and you get to keep the CPP and the EI corporate matching, which is about 140%. So let us do it for you instead. Mike says, fun fact, I opened a corporation 10 years ago, very little or no activity, never filed. Okay, well, Mike, if you don't want that corporation anymore, let me know. I'll take it off your hands, because I do move numbers all over the place and I'm always looking for older corporations. Do I offer free consultations? Not anymore. We did 2 years ago when we were building the business. And then we had so many that we had to charge for it. We charged a small amount, it was 150 bucks. Then we were doing 60 or 70 consultations a week, couldn't keep up. So we had to up the price to 350. We were still doing about 35 to 40 a week. So we had to up the price again. It's just, you got to be careful. I have to be careful how much time I dedicate to the consultations. I'll tell you why. Very important that I continue building tax strategy. My days are 12 to 16 hours, quite easily every single day, because I spend a lot of time reading case law and reviewing the Income Tax Act, the Excise Tax Act, and the GST Act. I'm always looking for a way to win. And I cannot stay on top of my game if I'm just talking to people and trying to sell them something. I love money. I really do love money. I love making money, but I'm not going to just take everybody's money and then be so exhausted that I can't do the work. I would never do that. Myron, how do I stop paying? How do I stop paying payroll taxes? Sell me your current corporation. I'll take all the payroll debt from you, and then we'll open up a brand new numbered corporation for you, and I will take over your payroll. You never have to worry about it again. You are going to save a fortune. Okay. Do you have to report crypto earnings? No. Do you have to report crypto capital gains? No. Do you have to report gold and silver capital gains? Absolutely not. Why would you tell anybody you've got gold or silver? Gold, silver, platinum, palladium, and the new one is copper. Like there are companies out there pressing copper coins. They don't have a denomination on them, but a 1 ounce copper coin selling for something crazy like $4 right now. So copper is going to be the next big metal to enter into the market. Why would you tell anyone you got that? The only person who should know would be your insurance broker who gets you a home insurance policy. But even then, if you do a really good job hiding your gold and silver and your cash in a fireproof safe that's hidden behind a fake wall or something like that, then you don't even need insurance for that stuff. You don't want to talk about gold, silver, platinum, palladium, gems. Shh, quiet. Stop talking about stuff. Pap Hellam, hello. Have you had truck drivers contacting you about reassessments being levied against them? Oh, yeah. Oh, God. Half of our client base is in Alberta because Albertans work a lot. And there are a lot of oil companies and a lot of oil rig workers and a lot of oil support workers and a lot of farmers and a ton of truck drivers. We do a lot of work for truck companies and independent truck drivers. And the answer is yes. We get rid of all the debts that truck drivers have placed against them. And truck driving is not very profitable. So we really do squeeze everything back for owner operators. When buying a vehicle over $100,000, we are charged a luxury tax. CRA said that we cannot return it when exporting the vehicle abroad. Okay, so motor export. What you would want to do is make sure that you're buying the vehicle as a promotional expense inside of a numbered corporation with an HST account. And then I got something in my eye there. Call me and I'll get you a massive amount of, let's say, marketing expenses to offset the entire cost of the car. Every expense you've got, everything that you have in the way of an expense. So long as we can bring the car price all the way down to zero with write-offs, then there's nothing they can do about it. You can export a vehicle that because I do have a license to appraise vehicles, I could appraise it at $10 for you and swear that in because, if it looks like crap to me, who's going to tell me that it doesn't look like crap to me? Then you're not going to pay anything. There you go. Always a way around the stupid rules. Family member passed away, recreational property under personal title. How can the executor move the property into possession of a numbered holding company? Do they have to go through probate? You make damn sure that no lawyers find out about this because the lawyers will just go ahead and put it into probate without even asking you. So you need to have me do this for you immediately. We have to get the title of that property moved into a numbered corporation. I hope you didn't tell anyone your family members are dead. Whenever there's a property with a death in the family, you keep the death certificate. You tell nobody about it. Nobody gets told about it. Move the property, drain the bank accounts, drain all of the resources, everything that they've got, and then divvy it out, make sure it gets moved to the appropriate people, the appropriate corporations, and then keep your mouth shut. We will tell the CRA 3 years later. You always wait 3 years to report a death to the CRA. Just wait. It's none of their business who is dead in your family. It's also none of their business when your children were born, what their names are, how old they may or may not be, their birth certificates, and their photos. Yeah, they sometimes ask for photos of your kids. It's none of their business. get mean, get vicious, become like Trump, become a businessman. Every facet of your life should be business. You don't have to like Trump the man, but do what he does, and that's be cruel and callous to everybody who's sticking their nose in your business. There we are. I've had reassessments done for 2019 up to 22 so far. I'm hearing multiple other drivers say the same. It seems like harassment. Well, they're doing it because people are not fighting back. So I redo your taxes for you at a loss, and that BS goes away. How do you leave your house to your kid without capital gains? Excellent question. We open up a numbered corporation. We move your primary residence, any of your houses, all your properties, one property per corporation. Then in the shareholders agreement, you state who the owners of the property are at the beginning of it all. You might want to hold 100%. You and your husband, you and your wife want to hold 50-50. But the rules for who gets what are all very stringently written in the corporate bylaws that I will prepare for you. The corporate bylaws will say, now, I got 6 kids, and little Johnny's a bit of a jerk, so he only gets 10%, and the other 90 gets split equally amongst the other kids. You know, little Stevie was the one that studied law and finance and commerce, and he won't screw the property up, so he gets 25%. You can do whatever you want in the corporate bylaws and swear them in, you know, with a notary public. Once you make that gesture, swear it all in, it's registered with the courts. It is now an official document, more powerful than a will. That's how you do it. Numbered corporation. You don't need a family trust, just a numbered corporation. And hopefully you've explained to your kids when you die, hey kids, put my corpse in a freezer and shut up about my death. Just take the death certificate, get my stuff, leave me in the freezer until it's time for some kind of big divulging party. 3 years later, you can have a wake for me. You know, I always told my kids, just put my corpse on top of my favorite van and drive straight towards City Hall and just hit the brakes. Throw my corpse on the stairs in front of City Hall. Let them deal with it. There you are. I paid enough property tax in my life. So RKS Som says, I have lots of capital gains, more than 120%. If I donate the asset, how much charitable do? No! You're going to take your capital gains. You're going to take money that you made and you're going to give it to some charity who's probably going to smoke it or put it up their nose or put it in their veins. They're not going to do any good with it. So you're going to throw money away for the purposes of not paying the money to the government. How about this? How about we don't report the capital gain? How about we leave that line blank on the tax return? I mean, if I'm your tax guy, I will make sure that does not happen. Now, everyone, look, let's change how we think here. You do not need to prove anything to the CRA. You've heard me call auditors. You've heard me call auditors and grill them on the phone. And they admit in conversations that are currently on Rumble and YouTube and Twitch, and they're everywhere, where these auditors admit they have no power. So if they have no power and they're admitting it to me on the phone and I'm playing these audio tracks for you, have you not caught on to the fact that you can do what I do, which is tell them to get lost? You can. So don't think that you've got to give your stuff away to a charity to get a tax break. You just don't tell them what you have. It's that simple. Where did you move to? Panama. Panama's an incredible country. It's a phenomenal place to live. I've kind of gotten used to Spanish women. They're unbelievably, oh man, they're hot. Yeah, never used to like them before, but now I'm hooked. All righty. Alita 69. I own shares in a private company. The shares are in a trust with the registered funds. How do I get around paying capital gains? Take the money, keep your mouth closed. It's that simple. It's not like you've got to make some big production out of it. It's not like the CRA has a cop car waiting for you at the bottom of your driveway on the off chance you've got something that they can have. Take the money And don't use an accountant, because what they'll do is they'll count it as a dividend and they'll file a T5 slip on your behalf, which is taxed 48%. So everyone, you have the right to remain silent in Canada. That is a constitutionally protected right. There is a law that says that you do not have to talk to anyone. You don't have to answer the door. You don't have to answer questions. You do not have to speak when spoken to. You cannot be compelled to do anything without either money being offered to you or a court order from a real judge in a real court. And even that you can appeal. There we go. Was I not in Tiny Township? I have not been to Tiny Township in 5 years. There you go. Too many psychos there. All right. I'm 21, work on my grandparents' farm, work crazy hours to have paid a stupid amount of tax. Okay, Black Beauty. Why are you paying tax working on your grandparents' farm? Why are your grandparents paying you on a T4 slip? Why are your grandparents just not saying to you, you know what, Billy, Bobby, whatever your name might be, we're just going to hand you money for all this hard work. And on top of all that, we're going to bank some hours for you. And we're going to make sure that you get part of this farm because you worked it when we die. Negotiate with your grandparents. Tell them, hey, listen, grandma, ma, pa, however you say it, doesn't matter what it is. This ain't 1944. You do not have to pay tax in Canada. Stop making me pay tax. Am I still in Mississauga? Oh my God, no, that's my hometown. That place is a zoo and a war zone and a joke and a sewer and an armpit. I am never going back to that place. I despise it. All right. Anybody who wants to get a hold of me, use the contact page on my website, kevinjjohnston.com. Do not DM me on social media. I just do not have time to get to DMs. I really don't. I thought the only way to get past capital gains was putting your farm into a trust or a numbered corporation. Again, trusts, $40,000 to set up. Numbered corporations, less than $2,500. So what should you do? You should not waste money on things that do the exact same job. There is positively no difference whatsoever between a $25 wrench and a $7,000 wrench with diamonds on it. They both do the same job the same way. Don't waste money on things you do not need. Sole proprietorship, can I help you get rid of GST and payroll tax owing? Well, yeah. The GST, absolutely. The payroll, we have to move all the payroll you've ever done into a corporation that I own and then redo your taxes at zero and then get the corporation to pay the taxes instead. That's how we got to do it. It's a lot of work. It's not going to be cheap, but it does work. Can I open a corporation account only to put money into it? Yeah. Holding companies can hold anything. You got 17 kilograms of gold? Holding company. House? Holding company. 1969 Chevy Chevelle with nitrous oxide. Holding company. If you have a car worth $100,000, holding company. Yeah, you got horses. Let's say you got 5 really high-end horses that you're using to breed for Queen's Plate horse races. Numbered corporation. Yes, you can do that. Okay, no, I'm not a divorce lawyer. For those who are asking me, do I do family law? No, I will assist in prepping paperwork, but that's the best that I can do, unfortunately. Okay, for everybody who wants to book a consultation on my website, yes, they sold out. We're going to open up more slots. So check Monday morning around 9 a.m. There will be more for sale. I'm going to go into the Rumble room for a quick second here. Why is Canada not a tax-free country like the United Arab Emirates when Canada is the 4th top producing oil nation in the world? Canada could actually be number 2 in the world, but we have too many of these far left BS save the planet policies that do not allow that to happen. every single Canadian should be getting dividends paid by the government to them for wood and potash, diamonds, gold, silver, copper, nickel, platinum, palladium. What else do we have, man? Aluminum. It's all in there. We got every metal known to man is in Canada. Every type of wood is in Canada, beyond jungle trees. Meat. My God, beavers. Look how many beavers we got in Canada. Since about 1989, the Inuit have been capturing beavers, skinning them, and freezing the meat and selling it to China. Yeah, and we just never run out of beavers. There's a lot of beavers in Canada. There's 540 billion trees in Canada's boreal forest. Then there's the shrubs and the smaller stuff that goes with it, man. Like, the country is just a haven for natural resources. Why does Canada not do what the UAE does? Is because Canada, unfortunately, followed along with old colonial British law. I'm not a fan of British law in any way, which is tax, 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 then tax the taxes, and then tax that. And when people complain about it, put them in jail. That's how Canada functions. So if Canadians want to be rich, you got to revolt, but you won't because you're Canadians. It's just how it is. Do I close the corporation I have now? All right, listen, everyone. If you got a corporation and it has GST debt, HST debt, or payroll debt, you can't just close it. They'll chase you for it because they consider that an in-trust account. So you got to sell it to me in a share sale. I take it over, and the CRA can chase me. Once they figure out it's me, they give up. They don't like me very much. And I made sure of that. Okay, just checking more of your questions here. I worked for a United States company, lived in Canada. I paid the CRA for taxes owing, and now the IRS is asking me to file and pay them. Do I have to as a Canadian citizen, as I never lived in the United States? No. If you were never in the U.S., no, you don't have to pay the IRS. But you didn't have to pay the CRA either. You're in a really good position there. But the IRS, they're a bunch of scumbags. They're kind of like Stalin and Pol Pot and Adolf and a few of the others. They might stop you from getting an E2 visa in the future. So we'd have to redo your Canadian taxes, get all that money back, and then negotiate a deal with the IRS. But the IRS has to prove that you owe. They can't just say you do. CRA garnishing my wages as I took money out of my RRSPs. So if you take money out of RRSPs or RESPs or GICs or tax-free savings accounts, then I have to bury the profit margin in every expense that I can legally put on your tax return and get you back 100% of that tax in the following year. And that's how that works. Yeah, for everybody who's trying to book right now, all my consultations have been bought up, but we're going to open up more on Monday. How do you usually charge for a personal tax sole proprietorship business? Well, if you have a complex tax case, it'd be about $1,500 per tax year. If it's not complex, if it's a standard one, it's $950 per tax year. And then there's a flat fee that we got to charge because when I do taxes, this is the difference between me and every single solitary accountant and tax lawyer in the country. They will all put down that they take no accountability. They take no responsibility for the tax reports that they are doing. They actually blame you. We did these taxes based on what the client gave us. I don't do that. I actually fill out an affidavit that this tax return is 100% accurate. And Kevin J. Johnston takes full accountability for the entire tax return. And this tax return is uncontestable, which is a challenge to the CRA to have them sue me. They get 30 days to do that, to be able to question me on that affidavit, and they never do. So for all you accountants out there and all you tax lawyers out there, here's my question. Why don't you take accountability for the work that you do? You take people's money. They trust you to do their taxes and keep their taxes low. And then the first thing that you do on your report is you tell the CRA and your client that you did the job, but you won't be held accountable for it. You are all filth, cowards, criminals, all of you. I take accountability for all my actions. Whenever I do something wrong, you'll hear me say, I did it wrong, and I fix it. You've heard me retract things before that I had incorrect the first time. I apologize, I fix, I move on. And when I'm doing any kind of paperwork whatsoever, you're damn right I take full accountability for everything I put down on that paper. Fit Chick asks, question, if your employer garnished part of your wages, which is upwards of $30,000 because CRA sent them a requirement to pay letter, if I sue my employer, how much will I get? You would want to actually sue the employer and the CRA at the same time. Breach of trust and tort fraud, possibly tort theft. Your employer would crap his pants. Even if they are a big employer, who cares? They still have to abide by the law. A requirement to pay letter from the CRA has no lawful command to it. It's not a legal document. It gets served by fax. That's not how you serve a legal document to anyone. That's not even a lawful way to serve somebody. So when your boss garnishes your wages, first off, he's a coward. Secondly, he's a scumbag. And third, he's a criminal. Sue him. Sue him. Get your money. Don't play games with these people. So for all you employers out there who garnish wages, I know what the letters say. The letters say that if you do not steal from your staff member and give us their money, we may audit you. We may hold you accountable for it. What does the word may mean? It means they won't. They use the word may. It's trickery. They bluffed you. You had an ace in your hand. You had a pair of aces, and they had a single two, and they won. They bluffed you. And you know the worst part about that is that you have the aces in your hand, and everyone can see the aces, and you can see the two, and you still folded your hand. You still gave up, capitulated. Cowards, scumbags. If you take money from your staff, you're a criminal. I will help anyone for free file that suit against you and humiliate you. I got a letter for supplementary examination. They want me to send in all my stuff. Okay, win-win. The last time the CRA told me to send them something, I took their paper and I went to the park. And I was looking, waiting, and oh, stroke of luck. Somebody had a dog, and the dog took a dump. And the guy had his plastic glove on. I said, no, wait, don't touch it. That feces is mine. So I picked up the feces with the CRA sheet, moved it around a little bit, and I mailed it in with my signature on it. There you go. That is what you mail the CRA. Don't ever give the CRA any of your information. Without a court order signed by a judge, you do not have to do anything. And by the way, you don't have to go to the park to get dog stuff. You can make your own on newspaper on your floor. Like, that's just less work. But do not give them anything. Stop snitching on yourself. Stop being afraid of these losers who work for the CRA. They are losers. People who work for the Canadian government are not intelligent. They would never survive in the private sector. They cannot think. They cannot see things creatively. They can't think outside the box. They are drones. They are robots who took the job for the high salary, and because they don't have to think. Their computer screen tells them how to think and what to do. And then when I go on the attack and we track them down at their homes, they have no idea what to do at all. You should see the fear on their faces. Okay. I don't know who was calling me that time. My God. If you're a friend of mine watching this show and you're phoning me You'll never call me again. Just get that into your heads. If you know me and you've got my phone number, called you in the show, you're blocked. So I'm going to have a little bit of a word with the person that called me there. You make sure you're available after the show. How can you remove a writ from the CRA on your credit report and home title? I covered that earlier in the show, but a quick recap is if you've got a writ against you from the CRA, then what we do is we got to get a legal letter into the CRA invoking Clause 7 of the Taxpayer's Bill of Rights, which means you do not owe any tax dollars whilst you are in dispute or while the actual taxes are in dispute. We make a demand. We give them 30 days to submit all of the evidence that you owe a debt. We also submit a Freedom of Information Act form demanding everything about you. They will fail monumentally at both. That's just how it works. And then we will file a $10 million lawsuit against the CRA and a motion in the court to have that writ removed. So you go on the attack. You become the guy with the minigun. You become the guy with the minigun on the armored pickup truck chasing the CRA. That's how you need to be, guys. All right? Attack, attack, attack. What happens to employees when they file taxes if you take over the company and we don't pay payroll tax? Good question. The payroll that any corporation does not affect anything at all to do with your staff if you don't pay it. The CRA will base your staff's Canada pension and your staff's employment insurance on the numbers that you report. That's it. It won't be on anything else other than that. So if you had payroll and you never paid the CRA, they'll chase you for it, but your staff will never be affected by the fact that you didn't pay the CRA that payroll. I have a corporation as an oil field contractor. I'm an owner operator. I want to get away from paying taxes. We open up a series of numbered corporations for you. I call it clustering. Corporation 1 does business. Corporation 2 owns your trucks and all your gear. Corporation 3, holding company for your money. And then you simply do not report taxes on Corporation A ever. You never do your first tax return because you don't have to, according to Clause 150 of the Income Tax Act, and thus you keep every penny. If you do everything through corporations for the rest of your life, you'll never pay tax again. You just have to have a little bit of balls. That's it. Clause 150. Read it. If I sell a corporation with debt to me, will you get in trouble for suspicious activity? No, because it's a share sale. And then it's an asset sale. I sell you back your assets the very same day. Absolutely not. You are allowed to sell me a junk corporation. I'm allowed to buy it from you, and I'm allowed to sell you back your assets. We can buy whatever we want. $10. This is what I paid for it. But if I was going to sell this on this show live right now, $15,000 US and a tip. I want an extra dollar for a tip. All right. And if any of you bought it for $15,000, it doesn't mean it's worth $15,000, but it means that you, as an adult in good faith, listen to what I say about the fact that this is a Logitech mouse I bought, 5 years ago at, I think it was Staples. It's worth $10. And you say, I know it's worth $10, but I want to give you $15,000 for it. I will graciously accept your money. And it's completely legal for that transaction to take place, especially considering the fact that I would tell you in writing that this mouse has a retail value of $10 and probably a depreciated value of 50 cents currently. And you're going to say, I acknowledge, and I don't care. Here's your $15,000. Give me the mouse. That's how business works. Everything is worth what its purchaser will pay. I have many people in Alberta oil field clients looking to get in touch with you. Everybody, that's great. Everybody go through my website. My name, kevinjjohnston.com. Everybody who's watching, please type kevinjjohnston.com into the chat if you don't mind. All right. Yeah, so how do I pronounce that? Alizane Real Estate? You do not have to report capital gains. There is no law that says you do. There are rules that say you do, but Coca-Cola has rules too. I don't work for Coke, so I'm not doing what they say. Hockey has rules. I can't lift my stick above the crossbar, but I'm in my house and I'll lift my stick as high as I damn well please. Why? Because right now I'm not playing hockey and I'm not entering into a contract to be governed by the rules of the game. You do not have to abide by the contract that you didn't even know you were signing with the CRA. Just don't sign it. It's that simple. Dylan says, my previous employer got audited. Your previous employer is a fool for allowing it to happen. When auditors contact my clients, I send in no trespassing notices to the actual auditor, banning them for life from the property. They show up, call 911. It's that simple. Okay. No, I do not live in Calgary right this second, everybody. I did for 3 years. Yes, I like the city very much, but I don't like the cops and I don't like the politics. I despise the courts. The judiciary and the politics in Calgary are awful. They are really awful. So that part sucks. But the city itself is actually pretty cool. I like the layout of the town. And would I buy property in Vancouver, British Columbia? No. You couldn't get me anywhere near that city right now. No, not a chance am I putting a penny into real estate in that town. That town's going to crash hard. When that one goes, you can expect a 40% drop easily. It's not worthwhile. And someone's asking me, would I buy a house in the province of New Brunswick? Absolutely not. The province of New Brunswick, they've got really draconian laws there. If you owe tax dollars, they just sell your house. They don't even go to court. They just sell your house. Now, you can get a court injunction to stop it, but they still just go ahead and do it. These people are ridiculous. And they all say the same thing. We all have to pay our fair share. No, we don't. I actually never once agreed in my life to pay tax. Not once ever did I say, I love the infrastructure of Canada so much that I want to be taxed to drive on these crap roads with all these crap drivers. Yeah, I love Canada so much that I'm willing to be taxed so I can get health care at a hospital that kills people. Canada is number 63 in the world for medicine. Do you honestly think you're getting any value for your tax money? And remember, I used to be a journalist. I've gone to war zones. I know where our tax dollars are going. It's going into the slaughter of innocent people all over the world. Every dollar I take from the CRA, I save a life somewhere in Asia and Africa. Every single dollar. And I'm not kidding. Are there any options for people that are on payroll and get automatic deductions from the CRA? Well, that's your employer being a gutless individual. You could negotiate with your employer to go on contract and then just cut them invoices. You could do that. And if the CRA ever asks you a question, what do you tell them? What do you tell them? You tell them to sniff this and kiss that and lick this and don't ever call me again. And if they keep calling you, call the cops. All right? Be rude to people who are being rude enough to ask you personal questions. Someone asks you anything. Well, hey, what's your son's name and how old is he? That's the kind of thing that back in the 70s, you would have lost teeth over. Now people answer these questions. I don't get it. How friggin' dare you ask me that question? You got 5 seconds to get out of my sight. That's the correct answer. So stop giving your information away, everyone. Stop. Ask your employer. Please ask your employer to go on contract. The CRA stole my money from the bank accounts. I just did my taxes, capital gains from trading stocks. I open up a license. When will they return the money? Okay, listen. Okay, I'm going to get rude now. Why the F are you telling them that you made money on stocks? Why are you people continuing to do this? Why are you telling the CRA, oh, look, I did well in crypto this week. I sold stocks. I did great. I sold a house. Look what I did. What do you think is going to happen? They're going to take your money from you. And they would not have just taken your money. They would have told you several times in writing and a couple of phone calls that they want you to pay, and you probably ignored them. You don't just make money in the stock market and then have money out of your bank account. That's not how it works. They warned you. You ignored them. When the CRA warns you that they want money, empty your bank account. That's your cue. Empty it. Now, let me tell you the stupid excuses I hear. Ready? And I'm going to say it the way it sounds to me. Because when adults say this stuff, it does sound like, I can't say it. I'm just going to say it sounds like a child, right? But all my bills come out of that bank account. So I tell them, go get a prepaid Visa card, put $10,000 on it, call every single one of your creditors and tell them to use the Visa card. Next, open up a numbered corporation, put the money in a bank account there, phone everyone and say, hey, I got a new bank account for you. Next, right? But it's so much work. My son's got hockey on Thursday. My daughter got swimming on Thursday. And then my mother coming by. And, I don't want to be rude. So mom's going to come by. We're going to have tea and crumpets. And she's going to tell me, shut up. Shut up. Tell your kid, I can't take you to hockey. I've already made an arrangement for Uncle Steve to come over and take you to hockey. I got to fix our finances. Grow up, everybody. What in the hell is the matter with all of you with these excuses? Excuses are your way of saying, I'm a loser and I want to continue to be one. That's what an excuse is. My God. Look, here's something. Yeah. Let me take accountability for something right now. Currently, I weigh 197 pounds. Do you think I should weigh 197 at 5'6" at the age of almost 54? I'm going to tell you right now, no, I should not. Whose fault is it? It's mine. I've chosen. It's not that I don't have a choice. I have chosen to be in front of this computer, and this computer, and that one over there. I've chosen that for between 12 and 14 hours a day. And then I get out and I get as much exercise as I possibly can. My life is my choice. I made the choice. So as a result of regrettably being sedentary for that period of time, yes, I am going to gain weight, but it's on me. It's my fault. And I'm not blaming anybody else. And I'm not going to look for an excuse. Do you know what I am doing? This weekend, I'm going to go and spend $7,000 US on a top-notch, super high-end treadmill. So while I'm on the phone with some of my better clients that I'm a bit more casual with, I'll be jogging on the machine while talking to them. Right? That's a choice I'm making. I'm going to invest in myself. I'm not going to make excuses. Stop making excuses. And don't tell them to me. I will say, listen, not interested. That's an excuse. Give me one more. I'll refund your money and we're done. I do not want to hear it. I want adults coming to me who actually want to fix their problems, who aren't looking for some bartender to cry to. We're not girlfriends. I'm not going to hold you. Oh, it's going to be okay. Yeah, it's terrible, isn't it? I'm going to agree with you that it's terrible, but I'm also going to tell you the truth. This is your fault, but we can fix this. Here's how. Here's the strategy. And I'm not going to make excuses, by the way. I'm just going to get it done. How can I move a personally owned rental property into a corporation if it still has a mortgage on it? Will the bank allow that? Well, I mean, if you have a lawyer that, kind of like the guys that we know, they'll just make the change quietly and it will be done. And no, the lawyer can never get in trouble for that. A lot of lawyers say, well, we can't do that because we're going to lose our license. That is an absolute lie. It does not happen. The banks don't call lawyers up and say, hey, we're going to pull your license, because banks do not issue legal licenses. It's not how it works. The bank might, however, force you to go and put a new application forward. So if you're going to pull a stunt like that, it's no problem. Just prepare for the worst. Expect the best. Prep for the worst. Have a backup plan. Have a backup plan to get another mortgage elsewhere. Okay, just reading some of your questions here. There's a lot of repeats. I'm ready. If anybody's had their bank accounts frozen by the CRA, I'm going to repeat myself. The CRA does not freeze bank accounts. The CRA puts a request in, an unlawful one, to the bank, and the bank just decides to do it. Get your terminology right. So when the banks do that, sue the bank immediately. Don't cry about it. Don't make excuses. Get a lawsuit typed up. Take it to the courthouse. Serve everybody who works there. If 1 million Canadians filed a lawsuit this week against every bank that ever did this, the banks would stop. They got to pay what, $500, $1,000 an hour to their loser lawyers? Make them pay their lawyers. Bankrupt the actual legal divisions of these banks, because it's not infinite money for the legal departments. They actually have a limited budget. We got to be on the attack. All of us. Remember when Trudeau said that Canadians would not be forced to repay CERB? Okay, well, he lied. I remember that. If you are a waiter or a bartender, should I report my tips to the CRA? No, you should not. I would also go ahead and state that you should not put razor blades in your mouth and swish them around with toothpaste and mouthwash. I find the two equally as dumb. No, you don't do that. Period. Yes, I am very familiar with Dr. Sidney Brewer. No, I will not be mixing my show and his show together. He has a different service, a different product, and it's not one that I can make work in my business model. He's a good guy. Means well, hardworking dude. I like him as an individual, but our business models are not compatible. Capital losses for a sole proprietorship. Okay. So if anyone has a capital gain out there, you are allowed to report a capital loss. Your desks. You buy computer desks for $10,000 and you sell them at a garage sale for $1. That's a capital loss of $9,999. That's a capital loss you could put against a capital gain. All right. Let's just say you got ripped off for crypto. The entire amount of the crypto would be a capital loss at the value of the day that you lost it. If you have a car that doesn't work anymore, I would put that down as a capital loss because the asset no longer has any value. You've lost the value of it. So these are all the things that we can do to absolutely crush your tax debt. Hey, Hal, good to see you again. Thanks for being here. No, I do not live in Canada currently. I am currently in amazingly rich and beautiful and rich and really, really rich Panama City. There is more money here in Panama than there is in Canada. That's why I'm here. God, you people have got to come and see this place for yourself. Yeah, there's money everywhere. There's trees that grow $100 bills here. Just money. There's money. There's money. Oh, I make sure that I jog past the canal as often as possible so I can stop and watch these massive ships go through, because I'm thinking that's $1 million, and 10 minutes behind that one's another $1 million. It costs $1 million to go through the canal. $1 million. No, so I'm just seeing money going past every 10 minutes. It's fantastic. CRA sent me a demand letter to file my taxes for 22 and 23. I know I will owe. Okay, you won't owe jack. You'll owe nothing if I'm your tax guy. Yes, I can help, but you got to go through my website. Do not private message me here on social media. Okay, I don't have time. I just do not have time. On Monday of next week, we're going to have more consultations available. I have a business that makes nothing and I owe taxes and payroll. Taxes, not income. Okay, so yeah, built by Sean MX. Go to my website kevinjjohnston.me. kevinjjohnston.m. Sorry, that's not right. Biz. Sorry, kevinjjohnston.biz, B-I-Z. Fill out the form. Fill out the form there. Tell me what your corporate name is and all your corporate debts, phone number. All of you contacted me. Half of you don't give me your phone number. Come on. I need that phone number. Put all that in there. I'm going to buy your company from you, and you're going to walk away from all that ridiculous debt. How long have I been doing this? I've been studying tax law for 40 years, criminal and civic law for 20, and I've been doing this full time for 2 full years now because there was a need for it. There was too many Canadians being absolutely annihilated in the tax game, so I took it on full time, and we expanded faster than I ever thought we would. What do you feel about rental properties, and do we have to report the income? I love rental properties, but careful who you rent to. I can't tell you what demographic that I rent to exclusively because people will say the R word and they'll take the lives down, but I rent exclusively to a set demographic, and I've never had problems with that set demographic, so my properties make money. That's what I would recommend. And of course, the CRA knows nothing about them except for whatever they hear on my show. And if they feel that they can find my properties and send me a tax bill for them, no problem. I've got criminal charges coming, and I'll track down the individual representative who dared to contact me about them in the first place. And I will publish their home address. I'll look into everything about them, and I'll dox them, but I'll do it the legal way, which is to sue them for $1. If you file a lawsuit for $1, you can put whatever you want. Every piece of personal information you have on someone can go on that lawsuit for $1. That's how you obey the law. I obey the law. I obey the law to the letter of the law. Unfortunately for everybody who wants to play these games, I know it inside and out. And when the law says that you can dox, then I dox using the legal method I just explained to you. Go on the attack, get rental properties, rent them out, make money, and don't talk about them. What bank should I use in Canada? Well, the only reason I like BMO, the only reason is that their online banking is the easiest one to use. But I don't particularly care for any federally chartered bank in Canada, which is the big guys. National, HSBC, TD, Scotia, Royal, BMO. I'm missing one. I know I'm missing one. Anyway, the big boys. I like the alternative banks, like President's Choice. I also like the credit unions. In Ontario, Meridian's not bad. In Alberta, Bow Valley is great. There's credit unions all over the place, and I like to use them. Is the bank the only place you can open a corporate account? No, all the credit unions will open it up. Credit unions operate just like banks. The difference is that they are chartered by the province that they are in and not the federal government. That's all. Sherry's telling me not to run on the treadmill, just to eat carnivore. Okay, but I'm still going to get the treadmill. Just so you know, Sherry, I love fast-paced walking. I love putting on my 50-pound weight vest and my 20-pound leg weights and walking briskly. It's exhausting. I love doing it. So thank you. I will eat carnivore, but I will also exercise. All right. Can the banks change their mind and unfreeze? Sure. Anybody can change their mind anytime I want. You know, just like when the CRA calls and says they want me to give them money, I will say, okay. And then I'll change my mind 5 seconds later. You can change your mind. And they'll call me up saying, hey, you didn't pay us. I say, yeah, I kind of changed my mind. But I changed my mind again, I'll pay you. And then change my mind again. I can change my mind as often as I want. There we are. Yes, I am into crypto. And anybody that pays me in crypto gets a 10% discount, no matter how big the invoice is. And yes, we've had invoices out there for over 100 grand, And yes, people have saved more than $10,000 by paying in Bitcoin, XRP, and Solana. Oh, I'll take USDC as well. So 10% off if you pay in crypto. I love crypto. I prefer it to the Canadian dollar. All right. Someone was asking, do I play squash? No, I do not like squash. I find the game dull and uninspiring because you shuffle from side to side. You don't run. I love racquetball. That would be the one to get me into. No, thanks. Don't invite me for squash. I'll decline. Racquetball, I will do that 12 hours a day. I don't know why that's relevant, but now you know. Is there a specific way to structure your business when incorporating to avoid ever having to deal with the CRA? Yes, 613 Maxime. I said it twice in the show. I'll say it again. And that is register a brand new numbered corporation, never do your first tax return, and never do your first HST or GST return because you're not legally obligated to do so. And then there will never be tax problems for you again. You get to keep your money and then move your money out of the country, move it into crypto, move it into cash and hang on to it. Or we open up another numbered corporation as a holding company and put your money there. That's how that works. Okay, so Maxine, I can't repeat what you said there, but it's a matter of impolitely telling the CRA where to go when they are asking for private information. And be as impolite as you wish. Record it. And if you get a really good emotional reaction out of the CRA representative, please send me the MP3 file. I can't wait to play it. All right. Yeah, tax court, everybody, is not a court. It's a tribunal. We covered this in one of my shows. In fact, I read for an hour and a half everything right off of their own website where they admit that they have no jurisdiction over equity of any kind. And when they don't have jurisdiction over equity, what that means is they cannot assign financial penalties to anyone. Tunnel Vision says, do we need to book a consultation in order for you to file a tax form for us, or do we pay separately? Well, you don't have to have a corporation if you want to get me to do your taxes. You would just have to know in advance exactly what you need done. If you know, for example, that you just need me to do 7 years of taxes and you've lost money in that time, let me know that. Then we don't need the consultation. We can go straight to you sending me over your tax returns or your T4s or the codes. We'll give you a code for us to be able to access your CRA account online. No, a 1 hour consultation is not always necessary in that instant. Checking Rumble. Okay, here we go. FitCheck, this is a good question. If I sue my employer for breach of contract or privacy for garnishment, then if they were to fire me, I could sue them again for wrongful termination? Oh, God, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. And I certainly hope you do. I have a loan coming to my business account. Can I use that to pay your fee for buying my business and keep the rest? Yes. Use the form at kevinjjohnston.biz. Actually, that is a really good question there. There was a guy, and he wanted me to buy his corporation. We went through his entire debt load. It was a lot. Like, he owed a couple of $1 million bucks. But he also had a couple of Visa Gold cards, but they were only attached to the corporation, not his name. He was not the personal guarantor. So he asked that question, can I pay your $130,000 fee with the credit cards and then give you the debt? Yes. Yes, you can. Because I'm buying the corporation, but the debt is already there. And albeit, yes, I'm legally accountable for those credit card debts, I then start playing games afterwards with the credit card company, getting them to prove to me that there was a debt in the first place. And they never can, aside from sending me off statements. And that's not what I'm asking for. Remember this, everybody. In law, if I'm going to make a demand of you to prove something to me, you better have a contract. You better have an agreement. You better have my signature on it. You better have everything. You don't just tell me that I did something and you're billing me for it. I'll fight you in court on that. And yes, I do sue banks. And yes, I do sue credit card companies. And yes, I do sue the government when it's time to do so. Is a Canadian corporation better than a USA limited liability company? CRA took my bank I opened in the USA. Okay. If you've got a bank account in the United States of America under a corporation, the CRA can't touch it. Do you think American banks are going to give any jurisdictional rights whatsoever to Canada? Canada is a joke around the world. Of course, they're not going to do that because you would sue the bank, and then in the United States, you would win. They'd settle out of court. American banks don't cooperate with the CRA. Panamanian banks do not cooperate with the CRA. You'd have to get a court order here in the city of Panama, in the region of Panama, in the province of Panama, in the country of Panama. Yeah, literally, it's like 4 Panamas in a row. You'd have to win in that courtroom. And even then, I would appeal that decision too. So no, you ain't getting jack from me or from anybody else that's got money outside of Canada. It's all about jurisdiction, everybody. Jurisdiction is key. And the CRA has no jurisdiction. They're just losers. Would I be able to get back the money I paid in personal tax for the last 4 years? If I'm your tax guy, yes. If you go to a supposed real accountant, the guys in the yellow pages, no, they're not going to do anything for you. They'll say, I'm not going to lose my license for you. I don't want to lose my livelihood. Accountants are cowards, man. They really are. Stay away from those people. I want to sue the bank and the CRA for garnishing my account $95K. Do you help with the paperwork on this? I need to move fast. Yes, but the problem is I am quite booked. I mean, I wouldn't even be able to look at it until September. That's a problem if your 2 years is coming up. So you have 2 years from the date they took your money to sue. That's the statute of limitations. Oh, yes, I can, but I can't do it till September. I want to sell 2 of my rental properties. Can you help me avoid capital gains? Oh, Jeff, that is my specialty, and I can help you avoid all the liens too. I don't follow RICO's rules or anyone else's rules. I'm not a member of any of those groups. Yes, I love doing that stuff. When you buy debt, do you buy the business? Okay, so Bentley, we were in order. I register you a brand new corporation so you can keep doing business. I buy the business that's in debt. You buy back all your assets on the same day. That's how it is. Takes anywhere between 1 and 3 days to get the job done. We can get it done that fast. Okay. Somebody is asking me if I like nachos. I don't know a single man on the planet who does not like nachos. Why are we talking about food? This is supposed to be a tax show. Come on, people. Just reading more questions. Just going through the questions here. Do I have to pay capital gains on the sale of my business if I created the business? If you go to a really crappy accountant, yes. If you go to me, no. Or if you sell it yourself and keep your mouth closed, no. Remember, don't snitch on yourself. Shh. Shut up. Stop talking. It's because you do tax returns and you answer every question. That is why you are having tax problems. All right. Vikram is saying it's tough to get a hold of me. Just go to my website, kevinjjohnston.com. Please use the contact form. I've got 3 people answering my emails now. Someone is going to talk to you within 24 hours. I need 3 years of corporate income tax done. How much? If it's not complicated, our lowest price on that's $24.50. We're about half the price of CPAs, and that's Canadian dollars. I only charge Canadian dollars for anything to do with Canadian taxes. If it's inside of Canada, it's Canadian. But if I'm doing anything for you in the States or in Panama, they're both on the American dollar. So obviously that's US dollars at that point. Can corporations avoid capital gains on property sales? Yes. Easiest way. Sell the property, sell me the corporation, let me handle it afterwards. Once the corporation is no longer yours, the capital gain is my problem, not yours. Does anybody here think the CRA is really going to chase me for money? When you see the faxes and the letters I send them all the time, my letters are getting ruder and ruder and ruder and more callous and crass by the week. They really are. Every week I'm upping my game now, and they don't know what to do. So when I call these auditors and these special officers and whatnot, they all say the same thing. You're rude. I'm not talking to you. Okay, that solves that problem. You could do the same thing, folks. When it's a CRA, be rude, but make sure you still deal with the problem. Don't just ignore it. Those losers aren't going away. Okay. Yes, we do taxes for big, small, medium-sized, massively gargantuan businesses. The only issue with small business people is that they tend to not pay attention to what I'm saying. All right. And that's not an insult. It's that there are folks out there that have the smaller mindset, the smaller business mindset. So some people misinterpret what I'm saying, which is why what we do during our meetings is I record the meeting and we delete the video footage, but we keep the transcription. You actually get a copy of the transcription if you want it. So you've got a written version of the conversation. And that way there should be no way for you to misinterpret what I'm saying. Now, some people out there will think because we've had a consultation and I've illustrated a strategy at the end of it, then I send them a quotation. Sometimes what they do is they don't understand what the quotation is, and they think just because we had a consultation that now I'm doing 10 years worth of taxes for them. Say, no, it's not how it works. The consultation is you telling me what the problem is. It's me listening. It's me making some suggestions, me asking more questions, getting the whole story, and then getting a strategy built and agreed upon in that conversation. And then you get a quote. So small business folks tend to think that the consultation is everything. Don't think that way. Listen to everything that I am saying. I am obviously, I'm the most articulate guy in the country. I make sure that I'm understood when I speak, and I focus greatly on presentation so that there is no way to confuse what I'm saying. I don't use euphemisms. I say what I mean. So if you ask me if you look fat in that dress, and I honestly think that you do, I'm going to tell you, you look like a cow in that dress. Yes, you look fat. However, you look good in the blue one. Go grab that one. I will tell you this. I will tell you in our conversations the truth about the mistakes you've made. But it's not to insult you. It's to guide you. It's to help you. I'm honest. I'm blunt. I am to the point. There's really no way to misunderstand me. So if you're needing tax help, please do not make any assumptions whatsoever. Now, there is one more thing I also have to address here, and this is with the Canada Revenue Agency. We get people a lot of money back. Now, we had one gal, we got her back $300K. $300,000 we got her back. And then she went out and bought a whole bunch of stuff because she says, I'm getting money back. I said to her, before any of this happened, don't make any rash decisions because it's going to take anywhere from 2 weeks to 10 months, maybe a bit longer to get that money back. You know what she heard? 2 weeks. Went on a spending spree, put herself into debt. I just got her out of debt and put herself into debt, expecting $300K. I can't speed the CRA up. I can do my job. The CRA will pay you eventually, but I don't know when. So if I get you money back, put it out of your mind. Just put it in your Google Calendar to check in with me once every 90 days and see if the money is there. Don't make any decisions on future earnings if you have no guarantee of the future earning. Don't do that. It's silly. One more thing, everyone. Stop buying junk. Stop buying garbage you don't need. All right. Invest. Your money is doing nothing for you if you're buying lipsticks that are $90 or face creams that are $140. There's like 9 cents worth of ingredients in those things. Stop buying stupid crap. A lot of gals, they do ask, why is your face so nice at age 53? So it's like once a week, I'll just grab some Vaseline. You know what Vaseline costs? $1. That's it. Just smear it on there if I'm feeling a little bit dry. Vaseline, dollar store Vaseline. What I'm saying here is that even though I am making over $1 million a year, I'm not spending it on stupid stuff. I'm investing. Even though I make over $1 million a year, I don't have liquid cash that I can just take and throw away because it's all tied up in investments. I want my money to make money. And even though I do know that there are contracts with more money coming in, I'm not basing any of my decisions on money that I do not yet have. So don't become a spendthrift right after I do your taxes before you get the money. Okay. So again, it's 2 weeks up to 10 months. Don't just hear 2 weeks. Don't just hear what you want to hear. Hear the whole thing. All right. And yes, I just got recommended to get some fresh aloe. All right. You know what I do? Roll me away. I've got 3 aloe plants and I just pop them and I use the raw aloe. I'm not buying that stuff. I get aloe for free. All right. I've got a nice balcony in my condo. I just put the aloe plants outside, give them water once every 3 days, and they give me cream. And yes, I do it raw from the plant. I made aloe tea once. I'll never do that again. I paid the price heavily. Don't do that. Should I buy a cottage in a hold company? My accountant is advising not to, as it wouldn't. What? Hold on. Your accountant is advising you not to, as it won't be inside the CRA. I'm thinking, okay, so I think what you're saying is your accountant told you not to put your cottage in a holding company because he's afraid, I guess, you're going to pay capital gains when you sell it. Well, we've said a dozen times tonight you don't report capital gains. And yes, you absolutely put a cottage in a holding company and your primary residence in a holding company and everything you own in a holding company, so the CRA can't take it from you. And no branch of government can take it from you. And people that sue you can't take it from you. Your accountant's an idiot. You got to get rid of that guy immediately. Idiot is what he is. Tell him I said that. How's the healthcare in Panama? Oh, it is fantastic. It is absolutely fantastic. The hospitals are ultra modern, super clean, ultra modern. Surgeries are inexpensive and fast. I can get you an MRI in less than an hour in Panama. Yeah, it took me 6 months to get an MRI in the province of Ontario. Okay. Just checking more of your questions here. Can we open a Panama bank account for a Canadian corporation? Yes. What I would do is open up a Panamanian corporation for you, get you a bank account, make you the owner of the corporation, and then we would declare that your Panamanian corporation owns your Canadian corporation and that all your money goes into the Panamanian bank account. Yes, I do that for people. My grandparents want to sell their mixed-use property. How do they save on paying capital gains? Owned it for 50 years in personal names. I got to be your tax guy. Now, here's what we do. We opened up a company specifically for this purpose. You sell your house. The check does not go to a lawyer because your lawyer is going to pay the capital gain. Literally. Before they even know what it is, they're going to pay it. What we do is the check goes to us, and within 24 hours, because it'll be a certified check, guess what happens? We wire you all of the money minus our fee, which is very inexpensive, I might add. And if there's a lien on the property, guess what? We're not paying it. You're getting the money. and the new owner, I will help them pro bono get rid of the lien. It's your money. These liens are ridiculous. If you've got a mortgage on your property, guess what I do, everyone? I call the bank saying, hey, guys, guess what? I got the money. The house has already been sold. Nothing you can do about it. So we renegotiate the mortgage. If you have a mortgage for $400K, I can probably get you $30,000 or $40,000 off. Not bad, huh? You can't do that if you go through RICO, and you can't do that if you're going through lawyers in Canada, because lawyers will screw you. I won't, because I hate RICO and I hate the CRA, and I want to see people who have worked hard selling their stuff keep all the money. It's yours, not theirs. Okay, so Weedasec, thank you for being a long-time commenter. I appreciate that. So Pacharillo, yes, we do personal tax. We're just a bit behind right now. We could start new personal tax files at the beginning of September. But yes, we do personal tax. Okay, hold on. All right, so I fly private too. I fly private too, says Kevin. I'm trying to give you my company. It has almost $500,000 to claim. Yeah. All right. I fly kevinjjohnston.biz, my name.biz, and I will take that corporation off your hands. Get me all the debt list, please. Can you write off a condominium loss on an incorporated business? Yes, but hopefully what you've done is put the condominium in a numbered corporation, and then you sell the corporation and the condominium goes with it. There's no taxes, there's no probate, there's no nothing that goes along with that. But if you have a condominium in a corporation, you could sell the condo out of the corporation. The CRA would want their capital gains. But what I would do is make sure you had a capital loss. Remember we talked about earlier, depreciated cars, depreciated office furniture, depreciated cell phones and computers, depreciated lights, like the lights I'm using right now, depreciated mouse, depreciated everything, crypto losses. All of that would be a capital loss that would go against the capital gain. I crush capital gains no matter what. But I still would recommend highly that you don't even bother reporting the capital gain, because everyone, what did I say earlier? It's none of the CRA's business. It is none of their business. We do not tell the Canadian government anything, because the constitutional right that Canadians have that you should exercise is you have the right to remain silent. I highly recommend you exercise that right. Shut up, stop talking. It is no one's business what you have. I have a renovation company, been paying GST, but not doing yearly taxes. What do I do? You've been paying GST and not doing your taxes. Well, if you've been paying the GST, at that point, I would do your taxes for you and try to get you back as much of the GST as I possibly could. But you got to do your taxes properly. Now, of course, I know how to do them properly. That's what I would do. There's a lot of people that want to know what city I'm in. I'll answer that question, user 8013, whatever you are, because you've asked it 40 times, if you tell me why you want to know. There you are. So, Tonto Tamer. I have a renovation company, been paying HST, but not doing yearly taxes. Okay, same thing. I got to do your taxes for those 3 years and get you back as much of that HST as we possibly can. I'm just going to check the Instagram page here. Okay. It's tough to. All right, there we go. So there's no more questions in Instagram. Let me just check TikTok here. And 69 Toboggan is a troll. So let's just block you. If you don't like being here, I'm going to help you leave right now. Gone. We don't do trolls here. Sorry. All right. I'm just going to check your questions. We're almost out of time here, folks. I'll just check a couple of more questions. 1 second there. And actually, we are out of time. All right. On YouTube, Tunnel Vision's asking, do you do employee law also? I mean, well, we don't do law. We will utilize the law to win tax files and whatnot. But I would need a lot more details on what that question means. And Syrian Drunken says, how much does it cost to go back 10 years to redo my taxes? I can tell you right now, it's $950 Canadian per tax year. So that would be $9,500 for 10 years of taxes. That's a steal. And then $250 for me to swear everything in. That's a one-time fee. That's not per year. And then we just charge for the shipping into the CRA, which is between $100 and $150. All right. We do everything on paper and submit everything on paper. That way the software does not bog us down. Okay, Instagram and TikTok, I'll stick around for 10 more minutes. And everyone else on Rumble, I got to get going here. So I want to say thank you to everybody in Rumble. The room was awesome tonight. Lots of questions, lots of interactivity and so on. Never be shy about asking questions. And certainly, please, all of you, stop giving the CRA your personal information and stop giving them money. They are criminals. They don't deserve it. It's your money, not theirs. My name is Kevin J. Johnston. This is the Tax and Money Show that runs every single Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time right here on freedomreport.ca. I'll see you in a week, and good night.